All right, back where we stopped off. I want to open up a new family template, and let's just go with a generic model for this one. We're just going to play around with some stuff, and I'm going to show you how to create forms. So it opens up. I got it going on there. Okay. All right, that's something else I've got open. So let me close. Oh, no, that's still family too. Okay. All right, so normally it will open up to the 3D view. It depends on how the template was saved, okay? But you notice reference planes do not show up. So let's go back to the reference level, which is mostly the floor plan. And here you've got two reference planes, the X and the Y. That's your origin. Okay, so on the Create tab right here. Now, before I even start with this, it's critical that you do your extrusions or your creations on the correct surface plane. Now, think through what what it is you're going to create, and your sketches have to be done on the right plane. Well, like I've said in the last video, if you've taken the Inventor class, that will be a little bit more intuitive to you. If not, don't worry about it. We're going to make it through this just fine. So go to your reference level, and on the Create tab here, you've got these 5 options for creating shapes. Okay, and then you have 5 options for creating voids. And we're going to do both of them. All right, so let's start with an extrusion. And let's just come down here, and you see you've got your sketch tools over here. And you've got a depth or a height that it's going to go, and you've got an offset, so you could start 6 inches up and then go up a foot. But this will say a foot high, so let's change that. Let's change it to 5 feet and sketch a rectangle. Doesn't matter size, I'm just going to make it. Okay, and then check to OK to finish edit. And now let's look at our 3D view. And there we have a box that's, like 4'6" something and then 5 foot tall. All right, so in my back in my reference plane, if I select it, I get the handles and I can change the size of it. Okay, or I can apply dimensions to it. Okay, I could change the height of it right here in my depth. If I go to a side view or a front view, I get a handle here and I can change the height of it. Okay, so that's, let's go to 3D view. Now, well, I'll tell you what, let me just show you how all these tools work before we go any further. So a blend is a little bit more complicated. So if I start it gives me a height here. So let me just go ahead and change that height before I even start. And I'm going to start with a polygon on the bottom and a hexagon. Yeah, we'll just leave it as a hexagon. And because I chose inscribed, it picks that, and I can rotate it. I can set my size. All right, and so I click to place it. Now you notice I've got a little additional thing up here that says edit top. Okay, so we sketch one profile for the bottom, and then we sketch a second profile for the top. And in this case, I want to do a circle. If I had an origin there, I could line those things to the origin with a reference plane. And there you can see it kind of shaped that. Let's go to our 3D view. All right. I don't know that color will, it makes a little bit of a difference. Okay. And so If I can apply dimensions to it, it's a little wonky because my circle is not centered up there. All right, so now then another one was the revolve. So let's go to a front view and we'll go with a revolve feature. And I'm just going to draw lines. Come out here a little bit. Right, that was the boundary line. Now the axis line will be the edge there. And we can see that it creates a revolved feature. Okay. All right. Now the other, the sweep and the sweep blend. With the sweep, you end up with a path and a profile. Okay. The sweep blend would be kind of a mix between sweeps and blends. So you've got two profiles and then a path that would join the two. So I'm going to switch over to my void forms to demonstrate the sweep. And so let's go down to void sweep. And things kind of change here a little bit. And you see here, we've got pick path or sketch path and then profile, but we have to do a path first. So I'm going to go pick path, and pick 3D edges is turned on. And so I'm going to pick the 4 top corners there. That's my path. And you notice that little grid right there, that is the sketch for the profile. And so I come over here and if I can load a profile. Okay, I don't have any loaded into here. I could load a profile from the library, and we'll scroll down profiles. And you got a variety of them here. Okay, so you know, you've got some notches and steps, and then you've got lots of you know, trim molding profiles that you can use, gutter profiles, slab edges, metal decking. You know, you got lots of different profiles that you could load. But I'm just gonna sketch one, and you're sketching on this little plane right here. So your sketch somehow has to touch that red dot. And so let's do a circle. And I don't know, yeah, 4 inches, that looks good. And then when I OK it, it cuts a quarter of a circle out of the top. But if I select it, it shows the entire extent of that void. Okay. But we don't see the void because, you know, it's a void. It's nothingness. Okay. All right. So now let's do another void. We'll do a void extrusion. But where am I going to put it at? Oh, I don't have a plane. So let's, I could go here and I could say set plane, and I could pick one, or I could pick a plane here. Well, I'm going to do it both ways. So here we got reference level. So, okay. And if I go show plane, it shows me my reference plane. All right. And so let's, giggles, let's do a pentagon. Just for giggles. And we'll leave that at 5 feet. Okay, and so you can see now, because it's a void in nothingness, I guess that would be like a black hole maybe. All right, it's in yellow or orange. Okay, because it's not cutting anything. And I'm just showing you that so you can see the difference. So I could take that, and now that I have it, I can move it. And if I move it into that one, it's still yellow. I go to 3D view. You can't see it because it hasn't cut anything. So what I have to do is I have to cut geometry. And I'll pick my solid geometry first. And then I pick the void geometry. I may have to go to here. Oh, it still didn't pick it up. What happened? Oh, because that's taller than 5 feet. That's why. So there's my hole. All right, so let's select that and go back to a view here. And then if I drag it up until it aligns with the top, and I can lock it to the top. And there's my void. Okay. Now, if that's because I drew the void outside of the object, is the reason I had to cut it. So let's do that again. So let's go create a void extrusion. And I'm going to set my work plane. I'm going to pick a plane, and I'm going to pick the front of that box. And let's just do a circle here. And the depth, 5 feet, that's more than what I need. Right, and you can see it cut a hole all the way through, a hole through my hole. Okay, so that kind of gets you through some of these things. Okay, so if I were to take this, and because I locked that hole to the top of it, if I drag that down, it resizes along with it. However, if I resize the bottom, it doesn't, because the bottom never was locked to that. All right, now is that kind of interesting to you? We're at 12 minutes. I got a little bit more I can deal with. So let's come over to here. I'm just going to delete these things and get them out of my way, because I want to show you a couple of other things here. So we've got we're at our reference level here, and we've got a couple of reference planes. So we're going to put some more reference planes in, because you need reference planes and how to create your models, that your families that you're going to build. So on create panel, I come over here, reference line and reference plane. All right, and so let's come over here and draw one parallel there. And we'll do another one over here. Okay, now you notice I could have named them as I was doing them, or I could, name them here. And it's a good idea to name them in your families while you're creating things. All right, so I've kind of created a grid here. So let's go annotate and put some dimensions. And I'm going to pick all three of those and come up and make them equal. And we'll do the same thing going on the horizontal lines and make them equal. The reason for making them equal is because if I move one, it moves the other, and it keeps them equal. And so now we can put an overall dimension, 5 feet. Okay, we'll leave that. But now let's make this so I could make it to what I need, and it keeps them equidistant off of the origin. Okay. It can work. It works the same way vertically also. Okay. So if I were to come to my front view and put a couple of planes in here, And I don't know, let's just say 3 inches there. And the top one, let's make that 5 feet. Oh, because I didn't lock that. It kept it way up there above there. All right. So there was another thing, about locking things. And so if I were to lock that dimension, then it wouldn't matter what my overall height is. That one would always stay 3 inches below it. Okay, so that gives you an idea on those things. So let's come back to here. When we're creating families, if you remember in the desk, we had a length and a height or a width parameter. So I've got these things here, and let's take this dimension and select it and come up here to labels, and there are no labels loaded right now. So I'm going to create a parameter, and I'm going to call this one length, and we'll say okay. And then I want to do the same with this one, and I'm going to call it not depth, width, because we're dealing with a floor plan here. And you can see the different things here. Best just leave it at dimensions and type, because that's what we're dealing with. All right, and so now we have a length parameter and a width parameter. If I look at my family types, there they are. And if I were to go over to the right side view and add a height, that would be fine too. I could see that. Okay. And then you can do sketches and extrusions and things based on these. So if I were to, let's say I want to do an extrusion from the center. Oh, I was on lines. Let's go with a circle. All right, and so now I can dimension this. I can't dimension the actual. Oh, duh. Okay, so now that's a 3-foot diameter, but it is not a type. All right, but if I were to come in here and add a diameter dimension, now I have a parameter of diameter, and I could change it here. You can also align different, if you have rectangle sketches or whatever, you can align them to your reference planes. All right, so that gives us a good start on that. I'm going to stop this video and start another one to show you a little bit more about visibility and things. So I'll be right back.